Hey everyone, it's Heather and I am back with another process video for you today. I am making a double page layout. Again, it is a Disney one and I'm using I think it's called Magic and Wonder Collection by Echo Park. And I am following a sketch by Scrapbook Generation today because I was in a hurry to get this video done for you guys today. I pretty much did this video a little while ago. I think it took me about 40 minutes or maybe between 40 and 50 minutes to finish the entire layout. So I'm going to be scrapbooking 4 photos, and one of them is a 5x7, and then I'm also adding to it, this is another autograph that we got in Disneyland, and this time it's Cruella de Ville. So right now I'm just trimming up all the papers, and I follow the sketch almost exactly this time around. So I'm just looking for any other papers because it's Cruella de Ville. Excuse me. Her outfit, as you know, if you know her, is white, red, and black. So I end up keeping this layout almost all red, white, and black, other than, you know, the background colors in the photo. And there is a chipboard camera that I use that has just a tiny bit of yellow and blue in it, but it's not very noticeable because it's so small. So I'm just going to go ahead, and now I've cut all my pictures down. I'm going to ink the edges with my black Close to My Heart ink, and because I'm making a double page spread, I am going to just ink 3 of each of the edges of all the papers. And I'm going to go ahead and get that done. Happy Valentine's Day to anybody who's watching this on Wednesday. And the black, you can see that I use those colors there. Sorry, I got a little off track there and lost my train of thought. Now I'm just going to ink the 3 edges of this red piece. And I end up trimming parts of those red pieces off. They don't expand to the whole edges. You will see what I mean in just a minute. So their sketch calls to have the red strips start about 3 3/4 inches up, but I'm going to go ahead and start with the black paper so that I can trim up the red papers so I can use the scraps on another layout if I want. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the black paper down first, and then I'm going to put this red piece down, and I'm just using my T-square ruler to make sure it gets mostly straight. And then I'm going to trim off any of the extra on that one and then make sure it's nice and glued down. And now I'm going to line the 2 pages up together, and I'm going to put the black down, and then I'm going to move that to the opposite side so you can see the opposite sides there. And I'm going to take the other red strip, and I'm just going to make sure that it's lined up with the red strip on the other side. And it does take me a minute because I had put the adhesive on, so much of the adhesive on, you can see me kind of struggling with it there a little bit. So I'm going to get it here in just a moment, if I can just get those papers to stay in place. I was trying not to stick my head in the camera for you guys to see, but I finally said, oh, this is just not working. So I'm just going to trim this paper down too, and there you can see it was kind of sticking to the scissors too, and then to my hand. So finally got that out of the way. Trimmed that down on that side, and I am going to ink that edge at some point just to make sure that that edge gets inked also. So now I'm just putting down some scrappy tape, and I'm putting these borders. I thought this paper was pretty perfect, the white with the black polka dots, because, you know, it kind of reminded me of the Dalmatians from the movie Dalmatian that Cruella de Ville is in. So I really liked the way that they look and the way it turned out. So I'm going to put those down at the top and bottom of the black piece of paper. And then the sketch also called for strips to go underneath the red strips, or the main vertical strips there, but or excuse me, horizontal strips. And I originally thought I'd use red, but the red just was too hidden next to the other one. So I decided to go ahead and cut them out of black, but then I thought maybe I could add a little interest to it and use one of my border punches. I don't use my punches enough, so I was happy to use this one. And basically this is, it's probably an EK Success one. It looks like their type. I probably got it at Michael's or someplace like that. or maybe even Joanne's, and it just punches out a bunch of stars. You can see all the stars there, which actually works out later on in the layout because I'm going to use some of those stars on the layout. And since there's so many holes in this strip, I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive here and there along the strip where there's a little bit more space to put some. And so you can see me just kind of dotting it along there. And then I'm just going to glue it down and trim off the edges of that one. And I didn't ink the edges of that one. I didn't think it was needed. But I like the star aspect because, you know, Disneyland stars, it all kind of goes together. So there are the 2 pages together, and those pretty much follow the sketch. Here is another one of the autographs that I got while we were there. So like I said, this is Cruella de Ville's autograph, and I have that 5x7 photo. She was just as much fun as the Queen of Hearts. You can probably see in that position the way she wanted to take the picture. She got my daughter to pose with her for it. It was fun. My son wasn't sure exactly what to think. So I wanted to mount that photo on red because it's going to go both over the black and the red on this left-hand page, and I wanted it to stick out just a little bit more. So I went ahead and mounted it. And then this photo is 3.5 by 3.5, I believe, and it's just going to go next to it. And then the other side is just 2 more 3.5 by 3.5 photos. And I thought I would line them up with the photo on the other side, but once I remembered I had her autograph, I wanted to go ahead and move that up. So I'm just going to move it up and to put a little bit more room for the autograph down below. I apologize if the voiceover on this sounds funny at all. We are remodeling my bedroom, and with no furniture in here, it gives kind of an echo, and it's late at night, so I told everybody, stay in your rooms, don't come in my room. I don't even have a door on my bedroom. So I told everybody, stay in and give me 15 minutes. Let's hope I can get this done. So I went ahead and just making sure that the autograph is straight. And that is how the photos are going to go. And I really like how this layout turns out. So another thing that I really wanted to add is these ink splatters. And this is Skyscraper ink by Studio Calico. This came in a kit a long time ago, long time ago. And it's my favorite spray ink ever so far, the favorite color. So I pretty much went in the 3 areas where I thought my clusters were going to go. According to the layout or the sketch that I'm following, they have their clusters in the top right, on the very far right, down in the center middle, and then on the left underneath the photos. And I was going to follow that, but I ended up putting my 3rd cluster on the top left right instead. So I'm just looking through all the elements, and right now I'm looking at the chipboard, and I'm just trying to look for ones that are only black, red, and white. It did make choosing things a little bit more difficult on this layout because there are so many yellows and blues included, but for this one, like I said, I just really wanted to do red, black, and white. So there was that chipboard piece that I put up in the top right that says "The smile says it all." And I thought that was perfect for these photos because if you look really close, you can see Cruella de Ville is making like a mean face, you know, like a perfectly mean face. So that was perfect. I thought that just kind of went along with the pictures really well. And then there was these double layer stickers, and I know the bow is supposed to probably be more for Mickey or Pluto or whoever wears a bow, but I really liked the red and white, and underneath it the layer is a black and white dot, so it's going to go on this layout. Actually, I'm going to do 2 of them with the bow, 2 different pieces with the bow. I can't think of the word at the moment. It just lost me. Ephemera pieces, I think, is what I'm thinking of. So I'm going to play around with these banners, and yay, I'm going to actually use some banners on my layout. I'm going to turn my camera off here in just a second, and when I come back you will see how I laid all the banners down. And again, I chose only red, white, and black colors, so I kind of just altered them back and forth and played around with them. And part of that red banner is on the left hand page, the very far left banner, and part of it is on the right hand page. And it doesn't bother me to cut down the middle of pieces of anything like that because the page, they do go together. So they will go together in the book. So up there in the top left, I moved my cluster to the top left there, and I have that red tag, which is another thing I was happy to use because I do struggle with tags sometimes too. And I apologize for any other noises you might be hearing. My cats are playing because of course it's bedtime. So there was this word awesome, and it was actually a banner, and I tried to get it down into the cluster of banners below, but it just was too long, so I couldn't make that work. So I just trimmed off the banner part and turned it into a word sticker and popped it up on some foam tape on the left hand side of it, and the right hand side is sitting flush with the camera, which is a piece of chipboard. So then I am adding a brad to this cluster on the top left hand side, and I think this might be where, yep, this is where I'm going to remember to pull out some of those star pieces that I cut from the border. I thought about using the white hand side of them, but the other side of the black is actually more of like a cream color and not a white, so you could tell it when it was there. So I decided to just keep them just with the black. And I'm just going to use some tiny glue dots to glue all of these down, and I'm putting 3 stars, 3 different sizes in each cluster, and I'm being very kind of random with them. I'm not having them touch anything or sit next to anything special. I just want them to look very random. So right now I'm gluing down that chipboard piece. Right now I have a circle brad, which is a black and white stripe in the top left cluster, and I have a circle chipboard piece which in the middle cluster down by the banners, which has the bow on it. And then I have another little chipboard circle piece that's just red with black spots up in the top right cluster. So each cluster has a circle element, each cluster has splatters, each cluster has 3 stars, and I'm going to go around and add a couple more things to each cluster. One of the things I'm going to add are these very, very old Queen & Company enamel, I guess they're enamel dots, but they're very large. They're about as tall as a large brad. And then to each cluster, I'm going to add a rhinestone Mickey. And it does pull in a little bit of silver, which isn't on there already, but I kind of liked it because Cruella de Ville is supposed to be, you know, fancy with her fur coat and all that stuff. So I thought that the rhinestone Mickey heads were really cute. And for a moment I thought I was actually done with the layout, but then I decided I wanted a little bit something more. So what I did was I took 2 different size pens, one's a 07 and one's a 02, and I'm making 2 lines at both the top and the bottom, and I'm not measuring where I'm putting them, I'm just using my T-square ruler to make sure they're straight. And I'm not even going to worry about lining them up with the other page. I'm doing the heavier line, the 07, closer to the edge of the layout, and then the 02 on the inside of that one. And that is the layout. So I hope you guys like this video. There's a couple close-up shots. You can see how tall those Queen & Company red brads or red enamel dots are. They're taller than the chipboard and the brads. Excuse me. Good thing this voiceover is almost done, huh? Alright, so I hope this inspires you to get some Disney layout or Disney photos scrapped, and I will see you guys next Tuesday. Have a